This is a great day for us as we heading close to the end of January. As today we're going to look at the 4 reasons why people struggle to build their emergency funds. I know we're still saying Happy New Year, and it's a great time because January is almost gone. You know that place where this Jan doesn't go, that's gone. I can see people looking forward. Payments are just a few days ago. The salaries are coming. I don't know whether you have seen the new opportunities presented this year, the new chances we have, the reasons and opportunities for which we thank God. I know the schools are on, KCSE results have been received. If you had a child at that level, what will they do while waiting to join college? Do you want them to learn a skill? Maybe take a course? Be in an environment of program like finishing school, maybe at your place of worship? Would they volunteer for a charitable cause? Because we just need to prepare them for the next level. And in fact, on our YouTube channel, the Personal Finance Academy, we have had discussion around this program, and you can see the courses that we recommend, study programs that we recommend that will very well prepare them for the next level. And you can actually get them into those programs. We have many reasons to thank God. The war is over in the Middle East. Trump is in office. And hopefully the Ukraine-Russian war will be sorted out and the guns will go silent. That would be a lot of gain to humanity. But my, who will step up and help out Sudan? Because that seems to have been forgotten. My name is Wahome Ngari. I'm the founder of the Personal Finance Academy. I'm a financial literacy coach, and my business is just to help people to grow better with money, empower them so that they can be better, and they can avoid the financial arteries. If you visit our website, you would obviously see more. And I'll tell you about our literacy programs later as we go on. The last session we had, we said we need to start the new year right. And we said there were 5 actions that we need to do daily so that we can start ourselves right and we can go on right. In fact, the whole idea was we need to win big in 2025. And we said one action we need to get to is to show gratitude always, to be thankful, to appreciate, to show gratefulness, to say thank you to God, to family, to friends, to colleagues, to community, to the nation. Because what you think as gratitude helps you to deal with the challenges of life. And if you look at how you have handled gratitude for the last 2 years, it has a direct correlation to your life satisfaction, your stress levels, to your wealth, to your income, to your growth in your career, to advancement, to your relationships, and your sense of self-importance. Because gratitude is the fuel to help you win the struggles. So become a person of gratitude. Look for a reason on a daily basis to say thank you. The second action we said we need to elongate the day, and we can do that through planning. We want to wake up before 6, and we want to have purpose, which we will wake us up without the alarm. When you have purpose, it will wake you up without the alarm. And when we start the day, because we want to avoid being sluggish, we want to shut away all the negative noises that show up. And that's why I say choose a long prayer. You can do prayer, you can do physical exercise, you can do journaling, you can do Bible study, you can do any kind of reading, you can listen to the music you love, and you stay away from all those negative things. Plan your day in advance. That helps you to achieve a lot. And when you start the day, select those things that are most important and deal with them fast. The third action was setting smart goals in life, goals about your health, your relationship, your personal development, your spiritual life, and also your financial goals, your savings, your investments, your debts, and your donations. That was the third action. The fourth action, feeding your mind consistently with positive materials and positive things. We live in a fairly negative environment. And so we need to find a way of keeping ourselves consistently positive. And because our minds are like the parachute, we need to keep it open. And the way to keep it open is to learn from others. Learn from self, yes, but also learn from others. Books, conversations, webinars, seminars, lessons, programs, studies. What are you going to do? Consider just incremental improvement, just getting better every other day. And if you can, read on a daily basis. Look for a way of reading on a daily basis. Book club, book programs, book schedule. And you can actually listen to audio programs so that you turn your travel time into learning time. If you have a car, you can convert it to University on Hills. And most of the best educational materials are now in audio form, and you can actually be able to get them and help yourself learn on a daily basis. The fifth action was love thyself. Look for ways of always remaining positive in a negative world, because positive energy attracts positive responses. And the vice versa is also true. So when you're saying you love yourself, it's talking about self-care, taking care of your image, your mental framework, creating and living in a positive environment. And that's why we have to think about motivational books, motivational audios, motivational speakers. You have to think about seminars, having comrades you can talk to, people who are close to you, having a confidant, having a mentor, submitting to a psychologist, having self-talk. Yeah, physical exercises, going to the gym, visiting the sauna, the salon, going on holiday, some retreat, having me time, having expenses, and even having fun time. Just need to focus on your goals and forget the noise, because there's going to be a lot of noise. Trust me. We continue to have a lot of noise from the political side. It doesn't seem to be dying down. They are on the campaign mode, and 2027 is still very far away. And we've been told macho ya chura hawezi zuia ng'ombe kunywa maji. So choose to become that cow, that you're going to shut out all those negative things. You're even going to choose friends and company wisely. We agreed, be the child of the universe, as the Desiderata tells you. Accept there will be people who will be greater than you. There will be people lesser than you. Walk your journey at your pace. Walk your own journey. That's the discussion we had last time. And I have no doubt you have found a way of continuing on that plane, and you're learning as we go. This morning, we want to look at 4 reasons why people struggle to set up the emergency funds or even to maintain them. When you talk about the emergency fund, some people call it a contingency fund. Some people call it the opportunity fund, because there are exigencies in life. Some unforeseen things that happen, and there are 2 of them. There could be loss of income or could be financial emergencies. Loss of income is a possibility. It could be a job loss. Yes, retrenchment. It's happening, and we've seen it. We've seen companies close, big companies, NGOs. Yeah, Trump is in office. We are not sure whether he's going to free some resources. That might mean some NGOs will have to close. We know about business failure for different reasons. Businesses fail. Somebody can get sick and they're not able to work. People get involved in an accident. They are not able to work. Death is obviously a sure way of stopping the income. When we have unplanned retirement that happens, sometimes it's the operation of the law. You have a good business you're working on. They are doing construction for a new road or well leave for electricity, and you have to move from that space. Sometimes it's social disorder, like we mentioned in Sudan. And those things cause loss of income. While a job loss can happen, while loss of income can happen, bills don't stop. I don't know how you can be able to deal with your bills if your income stopped. How long can you maintain your lifestyle without another paycheck? And that is why we need to have an emergency fund or a contingency fund or an opportunity fund, whatever you call it. But the other line of exigencies in life are financial emergencies, things that are not foreseen. They come without notice, but when they show up, they require immediate attention, and money is required. Medical, somebody is taken ill, they need adequate urgent medical attention. Maybe you see the problems we're having with Chief and Sha, and you need to raise the money quickly. In the event of bereavement, there are many things that need to be done and done quickly. So money has to come from somewhere. Your nice car can have car failure. Sometimes on the road, sometimes it doesn't start in the morning, the battery is down, or you've had something insurance people call excess. There has been an accident and they want you to pay a given amount for them to process your claim. You could have your phone broken or stolen and you need to replace it quite easily. Now, where is the money to address such things? Would you turn to the Shylock, the digital lender? The cost of money there is too high. Or would you go to your SACCO emergency fund? The challenge is the time lapse. If something happens on Friday evening, the earliest you can talk to your SACCO is Monday morning, and most likely you'll only get the money fastest on Tuesday evening. Emergencies don't wait for that long. And that's why we need to set up an emergency fund. And we need to keep a portion of this money in a bank account with an ATM card, and we share that PIN with somebody, because sometimes we are not able to help you because you're not telling us where the PIN is. The other portion, we can keep it in a money market fund. Most money market funds, you will access your money in 2 days. And in 2 days, if you had addressed the initial part with what you took out from the bank, you can be able to get the other. Your emergency fund is going to must be a fund enough to pay your bills for up to 3 months in the event of loss of income. In fact, they recommend 6 months equivalent is the better one. And we're not saying you keep all of it in cash. We're saying you focus on how you are going to structure your investments so that you can have money readily available just in case these things happen. But let us discuss the 4 most common reasons why people struggle to build the emergency fund or even to set up the emergency fund. And since this is a new year, we all have a chance to begin taking our financial future seriously, because that's a great way to stay on track in building our finances. And we need to have a very robust emergency fund. Last year, I did see a report in our dailies that showed just a very small number of Kenyans have a bank balance of 100,000. And that's an indication that many people struggle to set up or keep an emergency fund. If they require the cash is not on their side. They would either have to borrow or they would have to beg. But for every person, being faced with emergencies is not a question of if. A lot of times it's a question of when. Because crises are given for everybody. They will show up, like we've given all those examples. So it is important to be prepared when these emergencies occur. But from our experience working with people, the most common reasons why people find it difficult to set up the fund or even to have the fund is because, number one, people have the wrong mindset about this fund, and I'll explain what that means. The other reason, saving feels very overwhelming and doesn't look to have immediate rewards. We like being rewarded quickly, instant gratification. This kind of saving looks very overwhelming, and the rewards don't seem to be immediate. And that's one reason why people struggle. The other reason, it's very easy to neglect savings, especially when you're addressing debts. Debts look to be more urgent, require all attention, and for some reason now we neglect savings, and that's how we neglect setting up the emergency fund. And the fourth reason is the ease of accessing loans, and especially the digital ones. They are just so easy to access. So people forget the cost of the money and all the other consequences around them because it is very easy to access. Why do I have to save if I can access this money easily? That argument, why do I need to buy a cow if I'm still getting milk? So those are some of the reasons. Let's take time and consider each one of them. And I want us to start by considering having the wrong mindset. And I know a lot of times we get a sense of denial. We don't accept this is our challenge. But the biggest obstacle to emergency fund building is not having low income. It is the psychological trap of viewing emergency savings as money that is locked away rather than financial insurance or financial freedom. And shifting this mindset so that you don't think it is money locked away while you need it. You start seeing it as financial insurance. You start seeing it as financial freedom becomes important, because shifting this mindset is very key. And in the course of my work, I have regularly seen clients struggle with this mindset shift. But those who make it successfully, they build their funds 3 times faster than those who don't get the mind shift, those who do not realize the significance of it. I don't know, is that your challenge? Have you ever seen the significance of it? Do you think you can do better with that money other than holding it in an account? And I know that's a common problem, a common thought for business people. Like, instead of me holding it in a money market fund or in a bank account, I can put it in business. The challenge when the emergency comes, maybe you can't sell your merchandise. Maybe you don't have the cash. Do you perceive the financial insurance you have, that in situations of emergency, you can act quickly without having to take expensive credit? You don't have to sell your assets in a hurry, because if you sold your stuff in a hurry to raise money quickly, you will obviously be able to make a loss. Have you seen that you don't want to beg others for help? Sometimes it is emotionally very draining in emergency situations when you have to borrow from others, yet you look like you have the resources. That peace of mind is what this fund guarantees. The peace of mind that when there is an emergency, you will be able to act quickly. You don't have to take expensive credit. You don't have to sell your assets in a hurry, which is going to be a loss as you try to raise money quickly, or you don't even have to beg others for help. That is the peace of mind this fund is going to guarantee. As you handle all the other challenges in life, then this one at least is settled out. I don't know for you. Do you need that mind shift? Is that something you want to work on? Because that's one of the reasons why a lot of people do not have an emergency fund, do not set up an emergency fund. They do not really perceive the value of that fund. Do you fall in that category? Because you need to think about it. The second reason that's very, very common is saving feels overwhelming and doesn't give immediate rewards. Saving tends to come with sacrifice. I have earned this money today, but I can't use it today. And building an emergency fund obviously often feels overwhelming for many people. And in my experience, the reason typically boils down to 3 factors. It could be low income, it could be lack of consistency in budgeting, or could just be impulsive saving habits. I don't know for you, which is the one that makes it feel overwhelming? Is it because you have a low income? Is it because consistently you don't budget for it? Or do you have impulsive spending habits? When income barely covers necessity, the idea of setting money aside can seem impossible. For sure, yes. If your income cannot cover your necessities, this idea is going to look very impossible. It sounds very theoretical. But for others, it is not about what they make, but how they spend it. I have seen clients struggle because saving for emergencies isn't immediately rewarding. It is easy to push it off for later. I'll do it next month and the next month when I get a pay rise. While focusing on more tangible goals or goods like vacation or big purchases, it's easy. I mean, when you buy a dress, you buy a suit, you buy a car, you buy a bike, these ones look like immediately rewarding. You can see the reward here in your face. And thus it's easy to save for such notional securities instead of thinking about an emergency fund. Is this your challenge? Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel like it's not immediately rewarding you? What's your perception of emergency gratification versus long-term security? Do you want to think about it? Is that where you're getting stuck? Would you want to think deeper about this money, this item? Would you want to consider the value that it's going to bring to you? Let me just give you a break. Let's take some water so that we can actually be able to think about these reasons, because setting this fund is very important. Let's just take a break. Welcome back. I hope you've enjoyed the break. This is Wahome Ngari, and we are looking at the 4 most common reasons why people do not have an emergency fund or find it difficult to set up an emergency fund. And we say the first one is having the wrong mindset and getting caught in a psychological trap where you see financial savings as money that's locked away, that's not addressing your needs. We've seen the second most common reason is that saving feels very overwhelming when you don't have enough income, when you're just the person who does impulse buying, or when you're not budgeting for it. And it also doesn't even seem to give you immediate rewards. And that's why people find it easier to buy a car, to buy a dress, to buy a shoe, to go out for a trip, because those ones look to be immediate rewarding. And so I don't know what your challenge. We've asked, what's your perception of instant gratification versus long-term security? You have many years ahead and you want to secure yourself. The third reason, common reason, is that when we are indebted, when we have debts, we neglect savings. In the mind of a debtor, especially high interest debts, they tend to create a very painful double edge. And so we consider that every shilling in emergency savings is like a shilling not helping out with a debt situation. We feel like every shilling should go towards the debt. But in the event of an emergency, the debt payment will be affected, and most likely the person will have to get another debt if they don't have an emergency fund. So while you are addressing debt, it's going to leave you worse off. You're not servicing the new debt after you've handled your emergency, or you even have a bigger debt. And so we need to have a balanced approach. So that we avoid taking a new debt. Most likely it's more expensive. The initial debt was from the circle. The next debt is from the Shyrock in the event of an emergency, because you did not have time to even look for cheaper credit. And while still servicing the debt, we will actually have that problem. So a balanced approach here would require that, yes, we have goals for debt redemption, for how to settle the debts, but we also have a goal how to fund our emergency fund. And so that we can be able to direct money to both of these issues simultaneously, no matter the amounts. Could be small amounts of money for both. Because if you don't address that, we are likely to be caught up in that place where we have neglected saving, so we handle debt, something has come up, we end up in a worse off debt. And the last common reason is actually the availability of debt. There's something called digital debt creep. You get into it slowly from one app, then you get into another app, and you get into another app, and that becomes the silent killer of emergency funds. One, because you don't need to do it ahead, you do it only when it comes, and at any rate, there are many easily available loans from the Shyrock, from the digital lender. The only challenge, most of these loans are very, very expensive. And so they result into very frequent repayments, and that inhibits savings completely. They chip away the potential to save. So while you're addressing all those many debts, saving is out of the equation. And people tend to underestimate the interest charges, the recurring interest charges that are paid on these debts. If you one day think through those charges, the interest you pay, you'd realize you have more than enough money to save for the emergency. And in my experience, I've worked with clients, and I've observed that clients who actually take time, you audit how much you're paying. you will end up trimming these digital debts, and you will try to avoid them because the amount of money that actually goes to them as charges and interest are more than enough to fund your emergency. And if you focus, I've seen people who focus within 12 months, they have a reasonable fund to keep. So of all those things we have looked at, I don't know what your challenge is. We have said there are people who have the wrong mindset, if we put it that way, that you actually don't see why you should get involved in this while you have other ways of sorting it out. We have seen those who get overwhelmed by savings because it doesn't give immediate rewards. We have seen another group who neglect saving for this fund when they are addressing their debts because they are under pressure to sort out their debts. And yet there is another group of people who find it easier to go for loans because they are easily available, the digital loans, the Shylock loans. And for that reason, they don't set the emergency fund. But we say the emergency fund, if you remember, is that fund that's going to give you a lot of peace of mind. Because should something happen, you have a way, a fallback position, without taking expensive credit, without involving other people in it. So whatever the reason early in the year, as we start the year, let's agree this is something doable and we can take very, very easy steps and we're going to get there. And I think it's just about 7 steps and you're going to be there. If you want to build your emergency savings, because it can be difficult for a variety of reasons, and we have looked at these reasons, but you can take steps to set up this fund and to grow it. Step number 1, work out how much you need to save. And that's easy. Start with the equivalent of your 1 month's income. What's your 1 month's income? Because it is that income that you use to address your cost of living. So that's what you require. And the day you achieve the 1 month income, you have adequate savings for the 1 month income, that if you do not get your income for the month, nothing will change. Your life will be the same. You pay the bills, you do the savings, you pay everything. Once you achieve the 1 month, then the new goal is going to achieve equivalent cover for 3 months. And when you cover 3 months, then you can do 6 months. But let's start with 1 month. That's the first thing. How much do I need for 1 month? And that's equivalent to your 1 month's income. Then for 3 months is equivalent to your 3 months income. And for 6 months is equivalent to your 6 months income. If your income fluctuates, average out. Step number 2, you open a bank account because a portion of this money need to sit in a bank account that actually has an ATM card. And the other portion is going to sit in a money market fund where it's going to get a return. Why do you want to open it in a bank account? Because we want to separate it from our normal money, the money that we use all the time. So we want to keep it in a place where we can easily be able to access it. So we are going to put it in a place where somebody else can be able to access it if we are not able to access it. Because sometimes we have the emergency, we're not able to deal with it. So those are 2 steps. How much do you need? Where do you keep it? Bank account, a money market fund. Number 3 step, just save consistently every time you receive your income. Just set yourself a mantra. Think big, start small, start now. You're thinking big because you have 6 months in vision. You're starting small because you're putting in the money you can afford now. Whatever money you can afford, put that money in this account. Start with the bank account. We're going to move to the money market fund second. But start now. This is January, end of the month. I know we go through January, but I'm still insisting you'd rather put 1,000 or 2 or 5 or 10, whatever you can afford. But be consistent every time you receive your income. In fact, step number 3, if you want it to work, automate your money movement. Yes, get that money. Don't get involved. If you have a check-off facility with your employer, let them deduct it from your pay and send it there. Give them the instructions. If they don't have that facility, just tell your bank. At the end of the month, when money hits my account, or whenever money hits my account, send money to this account. That's auto money movement. Step number 4, very easy. Step number 5, define emergencies. What is the emergency to you? What merits money from this account? Be clear what the emergency is, and they vary from person to person. So that now we're not going to come and take this money to use for things that don't qualify to what we define. So it is important to define the emergencies. Step number 6, if you take out money from this account, please pay it back. This is self-insurance. So if you borrow 5,000, when you get 5,000, pay back. When you get 20,000, you borrow 20,000, pay 20,000 back. Because you said the first goal equivalent to your 1 month's income. After that, 3 months income. After that, 6 months income. Number 7, you adjust your money habits so that you can be able to increase the amount which you are saving. Adjusting your money habits is something that we have talked about before. We're saying look at how you're spending money, see where money is leaking away, where it is not necessary, and stop those leakages. For those with irregular income, I suggest you use your windfalls when they come. You might have a bonus somewhere, a tax refund somewhere, a cash gift somewhere. Give this money to your fund for a quick boost. And when you watch the balance grow, even if it's going to grow slowly, it's going to provide you a sense of accomplishment, and it's going to motivate you to keep on. In fact, the hardest part of an emergency fund is getting started. But once you see the progress, it gets easier, you stay focused, and you stay motivated, knowing that when anything happens to you, you will not go out begging, you will not go out looking for expensive credit, and you don't have to mortgage anything or sell everything in a hurry. Building an emergency fund isn't just about saving money or setting aside money. It's about creating peace of mind, knowing you can handle your life surprises without draining your financial stability. I think that's important. That building an emergency fund isn't just about having money set aside. It is about creating peace of mind, knowing you can handle your life surprises without draining your financial stability. And so think about it. Those 4 challenges everybody is facing, don't be part of that. Everybody smoothen your place. And that is why in 2025, I want you to purpose joining the Wealth Creation Masterclass, one of the signature programs of the Personal Finance Academy that has helped a lot of people to increase their financial intelligence. Financial intelligence is the ability to handle money issues with confidence. And this is because it is a very engaging, proven financial literacy program. If you're wondering whether that is for you, let's think about a few questions. Answer these ones, yes or no. Or do you want to earn more money by increasing your income streams? Would you want to earn more money by increasing your income streams? Would you want to be a better money manager? Would you want to own a home? Would you want to know how to plan for its ownership? Where will you get money to pay your child's college fees? Do you have a plan? Would you want to be a better investor? Would you want to secure your assets better? Would you want to use other people's money to create wealth? If you have answered yes at least twice, then you're the person we're looking for, because you're welcome to invest 4 hours per week for 10 weeks. We have a new intake that's starting in March. And we'll have classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evening between 7 to 9. And if you just want to have a feel what this is all about, I want to invite you to register for a Come and See session. A Come and See session is a session where you freely come to class. It's a virtual class. You'll take it from the comfort of your house, and you learn what the class now is running, and you see whether this is for you this year. If you join us this week, Tuesday or Thursday, you have a chance to better your money management skills, because we are looking at effective money management strategies. How do you manage your money better? How do you avoid financial traps set for you? How do you operationalize things like budgeting? Have you ever heard about a freedom account? Do you know how you can minimize the amount of tax that you pay legally? That's what we want to invite you to consider this week. So register for Come and See, and it's easy. You just send your details, or you just express your interest, and the number to express your interest is 0708 150 137. 0708 150 And if you just show your interest, text WhatsApp, somebody on the other side is going to help you so that you can be able to join us. Indicate whether you want today, Tuesday, or you actually want on Thursday. We're learning different things on those 2 days. We give you a chance to come in one. And we want you to set yourself free from the risk of getting flat-footed again this year. So join us tonight, and you're going to better your money management skill. And I know as you better your money management skill, you're going to get those extra coins you need so that you can essentially set up your contingency fund. And so you're not going to have the wrong mindset. You're not going to be feeling overwhelmed by savings. You are not going to see it as something that's not rewarding immediately. Even if you have debts, you will not neglect saving for it to address the debts. And you will now start getting away from accessing those loans from digital lenders that are very expensive. If you do that, you will become a big winner in 2025. And I want to say thank you for paying attention. Thank you for being with us. And thank you for the opportunity, Kit, that we have had this discussion. And we want to say the discussion can continue off air because I know you can respond. You can engage on the various platforms. You can get in touch with us, and we will be able to see this discussion move to a better level. Thank you very much. Have a great week. Work so that you become a winner. Asante sana.